Alrighty. Hi, Sagar. Welcome.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hi, Glenn. So, great.
So can I just ask questions?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, quick one. Yeah, sure. If you have a question. All right.
Yeah, actually, I have two questions. What should I do if I want to modify the skpromote file of the planner itself? I mean, like add some more rows into it and some more information into it before it's creating plan.
Oh, yes. We can discuss it in the office hours. Yeah. So if you can unmute yourself later on, and then we can talk about it. Yeah. If you have specific questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be time for it. Okay. Hey, Glenn. Great that you managed to actually join in from Sydney. I know that you were traveling.
Well, I'm actually at another Microsoft event, which is on today in Sydney, but I've just taken a little while out of that to come here. I think they're nearing a break, and then I'll go back to that. So I'm in a Microsoft office, so we're in a strange loop here.
Awesome. Yes, we are fully aware of that. We part of the team that's organizing that event. It's been long in the making, right? So I'm sure. I think DSR also know about that as well, Daniel. So awesome. Hey Jim. Hey Sam. Thanks for coming in.
Hello. Yes.
Hey everyone. Jim.
Hello.
Jim, I'm roping Jim into hopefully giving us a demo of what his team, if we can, in a future session, or even today, if you feel like it, you give us a demo on what you've been working on with Semantic Kernel. I know.
Oh, that's put me on the spot.
Don't know. Doing it. I pinged you on LinkedIn, so we can do it in the future session.
I can do it on that. I can do it on that. I can talk about what I've done, and then I can probably demo it on the next.
Hey, maybe that'd be good. Vic, what do you reckon? We have a bit of a talk, share, and then we can.
Yeah. So there will be space towards kind of the end where we can announce anything that you plan to demo, as well as sneak peek if you have it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Cool. All right. No problem. Cool. Welcome everyone to the APAC public office hours for Semantic Kernel. Today's Wednesday, and we have office hours every 2 weeks, fortnightly, and it's always at the same time, around 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, Daylight Time now, so we are in daylight savings. So hopefully it all works out for most people in this region. So I'm just gonna, I have my colleagues here as well, Daniel, Simon. Oh, I can see William as well. Great to see you there. Right, so good stuff. So first of all, I'm just gonna quickly play a recorded video on acknowledgement of countries, and then we can start quickly with the content.
We would custodians of the land on which we live and work throughout Australia, as well as the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people viewing this event today. We pay our respects to elders, both past, present, and emerging, and recognise and celebrate their continuing connection to land, waters, and community. Our reverence also extends to all First Nation and Indigenous peoples, as well as their ancestral lands.
We acknowledge the Tangata Whenua, the Indigenous people of Aotearoa, New Zealand, and their enduring connection to the land, waterways, and culture. We pay our respects to their ancestors, their current leaders, and their future generations. We recognize the rich heritage of the Maori people and honor the importance of their language, traditions, and customs in shaping the identity of this country. Cool. Just a quick one on acknowledging countries. We're going to start doing that for every session. So since that we're hosting is from Australia and New Zealand.
acknowledge.
I'm just going to go next. Okay, so welcome everyone to the Semantic Kernel. We've already had 2 sessions, so you probably, if you haven't seen that or if you didn't attend, please just go ahead and go to Alex's channel. I can probably should provide the QR code, but if you go to Alex's channel, he's got all of that. If not, you can get them in Discord as well. So if you've run them earlier or mid last month, and on the 12th, and then on the 26th, and now we have it on the 11th of October, and we continue that throughout the year. Cool. So please check it out if you haven't. So just a quick bunch of announcements before we get into the kind of the Q&A, as well as any demos that we have. So I've got my colleague here that plans to do a bit of a talk around certain topics within Semantic Kernel, as well as anything that's related to latest updates. So first of all, there will be a Copilot in a Day bootcamp tomorrow. So I'm not sure if you heard of that. I've put in the link in there or QR code in there. It's a 1-day official bootcamp that's basically full-on hands-on, give you basically some hands-on knowledge and labs led by our partner Kinig, where you basically be able to experiment and try Copilot chat, as well as various semantic kernel concept, or basically starting from the basics of AI and building effectively AI apps with semantic kernel. So yeah, so there's a bunch of interesting sort of topics in there. If you're interested in, if you're interested in that, please feel free to register and go to that link. Cool. And Alex just did a, I think last week or the week before, he did a presentation, Cooking with Semantic Kernel. I think the recording will be dropped in about, I guess, a few weeks. So just keep an eye on that. There will be some recording where he's presented at the AI conference, I believe in San Francisco. Yeah, in the US. So I'm sure there's a bunch of interesting talks and especially Alex presenting as well. Cool. Quick block announcements as usual. So I'm not sure if you're aware, a few minutes before I joined this, call this a blog post that just dropped on Semantic Kernel blogs, where they announced the availability of version 1 beta. So that was pretty much just hot off the press. So this one here is basically next sequence of that announcement last week around the rename of skills to plugins. So this release has several breaking changes that they basically were necessary to basically rename that, as well as other aspects of semantic kernel to make it more agnostic. Some of the semantic kernel abstractions were very sort of OpenAI specific. So they fix that and make it more provider agnostic. And that's kind of the main goal of the project, is to make it as agnostic as possible to be able to facilitate different LLMs. And there's consolidation on planner implementation, so into a single package that will introduce more sort of code sharing, which will make it easier for dev to do their own custom planner implementation. So yeah, keep an eye on that. There is a link in the blogs. So if you go to dev.dub, I think blogs.microsoft.com semantic kernel, you'll be able to get all that in place. So yeah, please check that out. That will be a precursor for version 1, which is planned, I believe, before the end of the year, that based on the last announcement. So very exciting. All right, so I think we touched base a little bit about this kind of 2 topics briefly in the last office hours. Given that we don't have a lot of questions today, we're thinking about maybe running through some quick demos, or maybe some in depth on some examples that we've got, and probably the US team already done that, but we want to have that discussion here and hopefully get everyone sort of sharing and talk about the various features that we have. So we're thinking about doing this, the hooks, pre-post hooks, callbacks, as well as the OpenAI function calling. But there's also some questions or some requests from the community around getting to the basics, understanding a little bit about what Planner is, what it contains, how do you actually create a planner, that type of thing, which we can talk about as well, if you want to, and if you have time to talk about that. And also, there's a bunch of demos that the team have. So just Jim, you mentioned, or Dan, you mentioned that there's one of your partners wanting to demo stuff. So we can provide that sneak peek and a brief overview of that. So in this Semantic Kernel office hours, we don't have like a particular agenda. So if there's certain sort of topics and areas that you want to talk about, please just unmute, or if you can, to make it more organized, is to submit your requests and topics prior. So we typically check that every Monday before the event that week, and they'll be able to pick that up then. Cool. So the first thing that we want to talk about is the pre and post hooks in Semantic Kernel. So this is traditionally seen or known as callbacks. So this effectively allows you to add different functionalities within your application within Semantic Kernel. And for example, if you have certain tasks that you want to actually do before it basically creates a plan and basically runs the execution before and after, you can do that. And typically, it's a common scenario would be logging, right? So basically, you want to log certain things, or if you want to capture, certain information before you actually execute the plan, that would be a good sort of example on that. And the other thing that we also going to talk about is a little bit about OpenAI function calling. This one here, it's specific to OpenAI. So it allows certain basically the semantic kernel basically enables that ability to do function calling. And there's a number of considerations, a number of motivation, and I think the semantic kernel team already described that in their video where they talk about how they doing it and why. So I'm just gonna go through the example and talk about that, the process and how you actually execute that. And we want to make it as interactive as we can as well. So we'll start with that, and then if there's any questions, please feel free to unmute or probably type in the chat if you have any questions. Cool. Before I get in there, any questions? Anyone want to talk about certain things? I think there was a question around Planner earlier. I think Saga had a question. Do we want to go through this first, Saga, or do you want to talk about that now?
You can go through your topic first. I'm very interested in them too.
Okay, cool. No problem. Sounds good. So let's just keep that in place. So let me just share quickly just the two examples that we have here, right? So
I was just gonna say, Vic, my demo is broken for some unknown reason, so take as long as you like.
Oh yeah, no problem. That's fine. No problem. Thanks for that. Yeah, cool. Hopefully you guys can see it fine in here. I know it's a bit all over the place. Let me just see if I can reduce this here, right? So can you see it okay? Is that visible?
Yeah, question.
Yeah,
There was,
all
oh,
good.
by the way, there was a question about recording. Yes, it is being recorded, isn't it, Vic? Yes, I can see the recording.
Yes, correct. Yeah, there will be they'll be recording for this for sure. Yep, and as soon as typically as soon as we finish the call, I think I know it's a pretty weird hours in the US, but Alex has been pretty active and very much on top of it. Okay, cool. So first of all, again, this is our installation. Again, the product team and already done a video of that. So if you want to go through it as well, refer to that as well. So we just want to repeat some of the information that's been provided in that video. So first of all, is this pre-hooks thing. But by the way, before we get into this, there's a bunch of examples in the Semantic Kernel repo, and it's really good to go through that. There's a number of examples starting from number 1 to now 59, and that covers different topics, right? So different certain topics that they talk about. Typically, it's related to the blog post, related to the video, and they typically just go through this in the video or the blog. So if you want to learn and want to understand certain topics, it's a nice isolated example in there. So yeah, one thing that I really like is that it's pretty isolated, and you can just run one example at a time if you want to, right? So the way you do it is basically go to program, and then you can just do a filter on that, and just I want to run 28, sample 28, then go with that. So, or you can basically do a string search on that. Okay, so let me just run 57, I think it was. Yeah, 57. Let's go through that. Yeah. So I've already run it before, so just in case if I do need to run it again, but it is a pretty simple example. So it is using OpenAI. So it does have sections. It does support Azure OpenAI, but in this particular case, it needs. Oh, sorry, this one is actually fine. You can actually run on OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. The other one, you do need OpenAI. So it does check for OpenAI configuration. So you can actually add configuration either using .NET Objects secrets, or you can add it in environment variables as well. And it's basically going to run a number of pre and post hooks in here, callbacks. So basically, this bunch of stuff here called get usage async, changing result async, before and then after. So anything that's sort of in this first 3 here, I believe that's pre-hooks, and then the after it's basically basically post hooks call. And if you sort of go through that, it's just running those 3, and it's the good thing about it. It's all within the methods within the methods here, and you can actually see what's in it. And the first thing first here, it's get usage async. So it looks at or do a count number of token that's going to be passed in within the request. So I think there's probably easier if I just start with the output so that it's makes sense. Yeah. So basically this is the output, right? So I've got a plugin, pre-execution handler, and then post-execution handler, and then the total tokens is 132. So it's basically getting a rendered and prompt and usage data, so that usage sync in there, and the function returns this value. So after executing this, after executing the plan, it effectively get the result from that function or from that plan. And here's the results. So let me see if I can grab that. Yeah. And so this effectively capture the total tokens of 132, And that is pretty good. You can do other things as well in this, right? So you can maybe do a log, or maybe capture, you know, the number of words or number of characters, whatever it is that you want in there. And then this one here is changing and filtering function result. So effectively replacing certain, I think it's certain vowels in here. So A, E, and so on. So basically, certain characters are being replaced and replace them with stars. Again, it's just a random function, and you can, it's just showing and showcasing that, you know, you can actually, I guess, perform the changes in there. So it's pretty interesting. Some of the stuff are pretty, I guess, you might want to do some interesting stuff around this. Might be that you need to combine outputs from different results, and then you sort of assemble it in here, and that could be a good way to sort of do a orchestration in your planner. Again, I'll stop there and see if there are any questions or anything that you have in mind.
Glenn here. This looks very useful. I was looking at this looking at this very requirement in Python only a day or two ago, particularly token usage into just logging generally, and specifically in the area of token usage. So if and when this becomes available in Python, I'd love to make use of it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not sure if DSR, you might know if there's any PR on that. There's a lot of, it's very active, right? So we you never know, like today and yesterday might be different.
I apologize. Yeah. I was not paying attention. I was looking up whether we've got the post hook support in Python. Just a side note, because that came up in the chat while you were talking. So it does look like that is a planned feature. I can find the PR discussing the feature, but I can't find the PR merging the actual feature. So I'm thinking it's probably not yet, but I'll come back to you on that. So what was the question you were asking about there, Vic?
I think it's the same question. I came in by multimedia.
Oh, gotcha. So same question via the. Oh, yeah, it was too. Yeah, okay. So that's what I'm checking on. I hear you. I think it looks like it. At least if the feature's not in, it's planned and the implementation is planned. So let me come back to you on that one and confirm whether it's in there or not. I typically use the C#, so I'm more on that side, but Python is absolutely usually there. Cool. I'll come back to you in a moment.
Awesome. Yeah, so that's great. And this one here is basically interjecting pipeline execution. So you can during the middle, during kind of or pre or post that. Probably pre, right? It makes sense to do that pre-execution. And before you actually executing this particular plugin with this function writer, you can actually just, you know, I want to stop that. I want to cancel that from there and no longer sort of progressing. And you can also do a count on the canceled, you know, how many invoked event, how many invoking event that you've already used, so you can actually capture the number of time that function is being invoked or invoking. As another things as well here, it's quite useful, this one. So you can skip certain function. So there is a feature in Planner where you can, you know, exclude certain functions. In this, effectively, you have like a, you know, like action planners or sequential planners. You'd be able to exclude certain function within the planner. I think this will be quite useful for different scenarios. Yeah, so just more of a swift army knife for you to be able to, hey, I want to do certain things in different ways in your application. And then this one here is to repeat function in the pipeline, right? So in the kernel context, you'll be able to, repeat certain function, and you can pass in different variable within that. So there's this example here. It uses a certain variable. I think this one is the keyword in there. So there's certain keyword that you actually replace. I think repetition and live and work, and then it regenerate, to LLM and basically get the result, different result, obviously, for that. So just like if you go to ChatGPT or maybe Chat Copilot, if you do a regenerate, you can actually pass in different variable in there, which is pretty handy. Yeah, so I think that's kind of the functionality of it, right? So the code, I don't know whether we should talk about the code itself because it's already well explained by the program team. But if there's any certain questions or any certain topic that you like to go through, happy to do that as well. Cool. So
quick regarding Python, Glenn, drop the PR in there. That is a draft implementation. I don't think it's 100% feature complete compared to C#, but this gives you a demonstration of how it is implemented right now. So yeah, check that out.
Thank you very much.
Cool, pleasure.
Awesome, great. Yeah, what do you guys think about this, and what sort of scenarios?
Got a hand up. Vic got a hand up from
Sega. Go ahead.
Oh, hello. So I have a question. So is it possible to add some like semantic functions instead of the native functions into the hook? For example, like we add a verifier into the planner as a pre-hook. So like it may verify the certain plan if it should be executable or should make another plan before the plan was being executed.
Yeah, I believe it works for both functions, right? So regardless of the function, whether it's semantic or native. Was there a reason in that question what you're thinking about getting different, I guess, or getting certain behavior or output that you ask that question? Just want to know what the motivation behind that. Yeah.
Well, my question is like,
sorry, you're breaking up. Sorry, a second.
So as to my understanding, the hook is only the function pipeline, right? So when a plan is being made and all the functions being piped on the line, and the hook will make certain affections onto the functions there. And itself has a problem. Can we just modify, like,
Yeah, apologies. I think you're breaking up. And we got only every few seconds from what you're saying. Would you mind if you put it in the chat and then we can talk about that, if that's okay with you, Sega? Okay. I think it's a silence, so he might be having some connection issues. All right. So I'll move on to the OpenAI function calling, and this is again specific to OpenAI, and there's the way the project team deploys this. There's number of. You there? Sorry. I think Sega is trying to talk about something. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm back. So my question is like, is it possible to ask the hook to only remake certain parts of the plan instead of making the whole plan. If one planner is not working correctly, like if one of the tasks is too complex and it's out of the maximum token, and we only want that part of the function to be remake, instead of the whole plan to be remake.
Yeah. That is a good question. I think again, it's very it's applicable to all functions, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's native or semantic. And as demonstrated in that sample code, you are able to skip certain functions, right? So you could have, like, for example, hey, this token is more than, whatever amount, and I want to skip certain functions from being executed at all. So you can do that with that. And if you have like sequential planner means that you actually have different set of planners that you execute sequentially, or even stepwise planner. You'll be able to believe you can include that in here because it's all outside of the planner realm, if you will. So it's all within kind of the the semantic function, and then you do it before and after.
You sort of wanting to, it sounds like you're wanting to rewrite the plan before execution, right? Because at the moment you can cancel the plan or you can skip a function in the plan, but you're kind of wanting to say, I want to change the plan before execution. Is that what I'm understanding? Is that what you're sort of asking?
I mean, even after it also works, but I don't want to skip the plan. I want to split the plan. If it's too complex, I don't want to split it. I don't want to skip it. I want to like break into smaller pieces.
Chop it in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that implemented. I don't think it would necessarily be impossible. Like it may be possible to do, but I don't think it's a sort of a pre-packaged, here's how you're going to do it. There's a method of splitting it, because you'd maybe have to create two new plans and then chop it up, and I don't know how that would work. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think it's designed to do that.
If I write a semantic function and call one more planner inside of that planner, well, that makes that the remaking of one certain task plan.
So I think just to add to that, we need to sort of understand what your scenario is, right? So if you looking at more certainty, or as in like you have a describable certain flow on what you do, we call it like a form filling thing. So you can actually just do a exclusion to your function, right? So in this case is action planner, and you can exclude certain function in there, and make sure that it's not being called within your within the planner. Is that something that you're thinking of trying to modify the planner on the go? Is that how you interpret that? Or?
I just want to know like how to automatically handle complex tasks by planner. Seems like.
So, Sega, would you have a lot of function? Is the complexity driven by the complexity of the task or the number of functions that you're actually passing into the, making available to the planner?
Let's say like maybe the output may be out of the token, the maximum token, so it only provides part of the answer, so that the following tasks cannot be sequentially taking that output as the input because it's only part of it.
Gotcha. So your plan is coming back as, hey, I need this, I need that, I need all these things to happen, but that plan is you're hitting the token limits of the model. Yeah, I have a feeling one of the office hours, Alex and the team talked about planner size issues and how to deal with them. I feel like it was a wee while ago though. Maybe in the episode where they introduced sequential planner or stepwise, it might have been.
Yeah.
But I hear you. I don't know if breaking a plan into chunks, or chunking a plan is what we're talking about, right? Or chaining plans. Have you tried chaining plans?
No, I didn't.
No. Yeah.
Sort of breaking, almost saying breaking your own chaining plans might be an option.
Oh.
And having the plans implement or do less work, or have them responsible for less. But I guess that if the goal is really large and you've got a lot of functions, how many functions do you pass into your kernel, or you setting in your kernel and making available to the plan?
About 3 native functions and 5 semantic functions. But sometimes the planner just train the functions like repeatedly, like the same function will be called several times, and every time it's called, the output will be larger and larger and larger. And
right. So infinite loop type thing. Yeah, I did remember that. There was a talk about that. I think in the stepwise planner or something like that. What planner do you use? Which planner?
Mostly the sequential planner, because the stepwise planner takes too much time.
Okay.
Several
and
minutes.
use GPT-4 or 3.5?
I tried both 3.4, the new instruct one, and also 4.
Yeah. I guess
the instruct one sometimes it's much better, but still sometimes the function loop thing starts to happen occasionally.
Yeah. There was a talk. I agree with you, Dan. That there is a topic on that around infinite kind of end of planner, and one of the strategies of semantic kernel, especially demonstrated in the chat copilot, is that you want to make it as transient as you can, as in like you don't want to save a long session. As soon as you instantiate a kernel object, you wanted to dispose that as soon as you finish with the session. And in fact, maybe even certain transactions, because it's all going to be stored anyway in a memory store. And that's where the memory sort of semantic memory comes in. But at the same time, I think that particular scenario, if you could, I guess, contact us afterwards, or maybe in Discord, and then we can, basically, contact or reach out to project team to find out what's the official guidance is.
Yeah, great idea.
Okay,
it's a good question though. I think it's worth looking at that, because I think it's an interesting scenario. I haven't come across planner execution going round and round and round and then coming out really large. So I think that's important to understand. Have you tried with the latest implementation using the functions implementation and GPT-3.5 Turbo 0613?
What do you mean by the function implementation?
So the Semantic Kernel team have implemented an abstraction to allow Semantic Kernel to use the functions implementation that OpenAI have put into the GPT-3.5 Turbo 0613 model, which allows a more formalized way of communicating the functions that are available to the model. There was a recent release from Semantic Kernel team that included an implementation, a formalized implementation of how functions are communicated and this was going to allow the planner to do a better job of saying and understanding and mapping those functions that were needed. That has only just come out like a week ago, I believe. Vic, do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah. I'm actually haven't played around with it yet, so that's brand new. Yeah.
It's very jam, Brent. Let me just they've got a video, and Alex has got a video on it, which I will share, which is worth watching, because I think that it may not solve the problem, but it might make it better, because it's moving. What it allows Semantic Kernel to do is move how it communicates these are functions that are available into back to back to the model, and in a more formalized way, and it can help these sorts of situations. So let me just try and, I think someone just posted that video. No, okay, I'll look it up for you in right now.
Yeah,
can you just post onto the chat channel?
Yes, someone like say you were just saying, are you wanting to sort of implement a plan rewrite? Is that? I think someone was suggesting
that was one of the ideas,
yeah.
But I don't think it was actually the goal. The ultimate. Okay, cool. I don't think that will work. Yeah. Sorry. So I've posted that Semantic Kernel function implementation in there. They have actually, that example 59 is actually how it works, and you can run through that. So
you mean the OpenAI function calling? Sorry, yeah,
OpenAI function calling, because this is designed to help planners or improve the planning process, because you're actually rather than having to have the functions available communicated as part of the plan as free text, we're able to formally pass that in if you're using GPT-3.5 Turbo 0613. So you need that model, or GPT-4 0613, I think. Both of those models support the new API that contains a functions parameter. So if you use that, it might not do a better job. So maybe you have a look at that implementation there that Vic's got on the screen, and watch that video and see if you can convert over to using this new functions format.
Yeah. And are you using OpenAI or Azure OpenAI? Oh, it doesn't matter, but in a way, this only applicable to OpenAI at this stage, yeah. Yeah, cool. So this is a great segue for that, I guess, OpenAI function calling. And again, this functionality just been implemented. There's initial implementation, so there's bound to be, I guess, future add-ons and features that will be added. So this is, function calling that's already available in OpenAI. It's only applicable in OpenAI at this stage. It's basically to basically kick off or execute a function call based on user query, and you can add a set of functions in the API requests. Because we already have that, exactly the very conversation that we just had now. We have native functions, and we have semantic functions that are already built in within the planner. The team was sort of thinking about how we can actually deploy or extend that functionality within Semantic Kernel, and we want to make it as I guess the Semantic Kernel team wanted to make it as model and agnostic as possible, and it's really up to the consumer, ourselves, to basically use that. And the way they decided to do that is to use to extend the interface for the OpenAI request settings in here, right? So when you kick off or create the kernel, this is kind of the three things that you do anyway as part of initialization, then let's just go to that initialize kernel sync. This is the process of how you deploy that. It can work with Azure OpenAI, as you can see in the comment here, right? It can also work obviously with OpenAI. Then you load the functions in here. So we've got two functions in the sample, TUM plugin as well as the Klarna shopping plugin, which is something that's already available. I think you can actually play around with it in Chat Copilot as well. And the key thing here is that that's been added recently is that OpenAI request settings, where you can now add functions, right? So you can actually do a function calling in here. So basically, to include all functions registered with the kernel. So you basically do that to include those functions, and this is where you set the function call to the name to a specific function, and then you pass in the actual request, which is what day is today, and bunch of objects, and for the context that you need to pass in as part of a function call. Same thing here. We do call the second function that we added before, which is the Klarna shopping, and you just basically ask the question. And the interesting thing about this is basically it lets the model to choose the best function to use. So based on the prompt, you basically rely on the model to basically just hey, pick me the best function for this question. Yeah, which is something
and that's based on the SK function decorators, right? Like that you've put in.
Yeah, so basically
to give it hints. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So this you basically added and those functions, right? You import the functions to the kernel, and this has a description and has metadata in them, and then you'll be able to, I guess, based on the prompt, it will be able to pick the right function. Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. And in terms of, all of these various functionality that we have is basically that complete chat with function async, which is that new function request, and the result. Let me just go through that quickly here. So basically, the user message, basically what day is today, and then it prints out the function name, which is date, and the plugin name is time plugin. And the result then is that, right? So Tuesday, 10 of October, yesterday. And user message, this is the second function calling, right? So what computer tablets are available for under $200? And then the function name is that, and the plugin name is this Klarna shopping plugin, which the model effectively chooses itself. Based on the descriptions of that plugin. And yeah, so basically here's the result, a bunch of, I think, JSON as well. And I guess some code there, some product, I guess IDs or something in here. Yeah, so, and based on that, you'd be able to ask certain questions as well in there. You can continue in asking. I think in the video they did ask about, hey, what about, what's the cheapest out of this, right? So you can ask and do a follow up on that, and just continue that conversation. Yeah, so that's a little bit about OpenAI function calling, and Sega, probably that's something that you could try. There might be, again, this is just as a suggestion, or maybe just speculation at the moment, is it might be more efficient for you to do the function calling directly here, rather than using the previous method. But yeah, we can if you just post that on Discord, and then we can you can tag me and DSR, and we can then follow up. All right. So that's the two main features that just announced, and I thought I think we thought it's a pretty useful and pretty sizable functionality there, that can enrich our applications using Semantic Kernel. Any questions?
I think there's a question from my favorite partner, Glenn. He's just he's basically asking about the planner when it's like choosing. By the way, I consider all partners equal. I'm just being funny. He's basically asking when it's choosing the relevant function, given the like that SK function hint and stuff. Is it is it basically going and choosing that function, or kind of giving it, I guess, that same kind of experience as like OpenAI? Is that what you're asking, Glenn, where it kind of pops the thing up on the UI? Is that what you're asking?
Well, let me give you a bit of context. So I've been experimenting with a chatbot that can engage a user in a conversation about their customer data. And that customer data may be held in a variety of sources. And so I've got native functions that connect to different sources. And I'm kind of orchestrating across those functions, depending on where the data is, to answer their question. Maybe may invoke multiple or one or whatever, which is intriguing. Often the usual post a question and the combination of all this functionality can answer it. But then there may be actions they want to take on that. There may be a set of follow-up questions. Maybe they want to download the results. Maybe they want to spit it out to a document or something like that. There's a set of actions that, as a designer, we can prompt the user with, to use a loaded term. The user might say, "Oh, great! Could I spit that into an Excel document, or could I have that in a Word document?" And we can interpret that natural language and then take an action off the back of that, probably get the user to confirm it, or we could preempt some of these common actions like 365 Copilot does, where it presents some little buttons for follow-on prompts and regular actions. These are very different design patterns, and I'm just wondering what you guys think about when to use one versus when to, like, how hard to go at natural language versus combining that with declarative buttons or with kind of slash invocations, the way that 365 Copilot does. There's like 3 different patterns there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. It's probably a little bit more on kind of on the design and implementation sort of choices that you have. I think if you sort of zoom into kind of the planner topic, right? So we've got this at the moment 3 planners, right? Planner types, action planner, the stepwise planner, as well as the sequential planner. And all of these have certain, I guess, purpose, if you will. This different planner, and there's probably if you sort of categorize it into like action planner, sequence planner, and stepwise. Action planner typically deals with a pretty succinct scenario, as in like what you want to do, and this is the type of functions that you will basically execute, and the model or the kernel will actually choose kind of the right functions out of those plugins that you've already added. And then if you're talking about kind of the, hey, give me the list of possible follow-up actions that you have. I don't know, we're probably going to need to deep dive into the details of how you actually expose those things. But the stepwise planner seemed to be, I guess, giving you a bit more, I guess, alternatives, and giving you a little bit more possible kind of best solution for the type of planner, or the type of follow-up actions that might be suggested to the end users. And the way it works is basically just do a bit of evaluation on the plan, and checks the right functions, and then propose a set of functions that will be called. I guess that's just opinion. Gonna need to sort of do a bit of a design on that. Anyone else want to chime in?
Yeah, I'm probably not courageous enough to go with an answer on this, because it's something I'm wondering at the moment as well. It's like, particularly when you want to mix stuff like that natural language to SQL stuff with actually just going to like vector search. it's like, how do you, how do you, and particularly as well, because the even though the memory stuff in semantic memory, it's implemented as a plugin, but it also runs as a service. And it's like, so how do they interact in that kind of planner, in that planner process? And I don't know the answer, and I'm going hard at it. So let me. Unless DSR is going to come in and save the day, I'll have to get back to you maybe on the next call with some succinct, with a more succinct response than I don't know.
No, that's all good, and I'm kind of fumbling my way through this myself as well. There's a combination there that's actually working pretty well. That I'm trying not to ask a LLM to decide things that you can just about work out logically through code anyway. If there are definitely a set of, like, if the example from 365 Copilot, where user asks a question, you provide an answer, but then you provide suggested prompts to continue the conversation, I think is really intriguing. I haven't tried this yet, but the question, even something as simple as that, it makes sense the way that 365 Copilot does. To present those prompts is just a simple click. Great prompt. Click that. It's going to send that prompt as the next user input, or at least put it into the input box. Even just something as simple as that, I think, is very powerful. And that sort of prompt, make prompts available from a set of LLM generated ones, as well as a set of predefined actions that might invoke native functions, I think is a nice kind of hybrid approach that doesn't ask too much of the stepwise planner.
And it's almost analogous with that stuff like of tags, like with like the tag stuff in the semantic memories, where you're searching by its semantic understanding of your question, but you can also just kind of override it with but just look in this stuff against these tags, which was a different kind of UI option to just cut down the search. So it's kind of like I'm just
right.
Just, like when it's I don't know. I guess that was just a comment. But like in regards to like with the vectors, like with the vector search, and then with like something like NL SQL, right? It's like the thing that is just really that I'm really trying to like nut out is that it's fine when you're just using vector search, right? Because you do the cognitive search or whatever does the search, and then based on relevance, it's able to perhaps figure out which ones it should go and look in, and then the GPT-4 model or whatever you're using will come up with a decent answer. But how does it kind of incorporate the relevance of of which if it's also using NL to SQL, like, so it's like when it can possibly go and get the answer in vector search and in SQL, it's like it's all right if it's sequential. Like if you're asking something and it needs to go get some information from vector search first to understand something, and then it will go and hit SQL to get the answer. Like maybe I'm asking, well, who's doing like got the best sales out of all our salesmen? Maybe it goes does the cognitive search and gets the names of those salesmen, and then goes and hits the database or something, right? But how does it do it if it's doing it at the same time? Like if we can get the answer out of both, and that's what I don't understand.
Just wondering, does anybody have a good solution for converting natural language to SQL? It's something I've experimented with using GPT, and I do have a public repo that I can share. But if there are any other sort of well-known solutions, it'd be interesting to know.
There is a sample. There's a sample in the semantic memory repo. So it's
right.
And it's got so they've basically done a proof of concept. I'll post the blog post about it. But so he's using NL to SQL. Glenn is very Glenn's very familiar with it.
Yeah, thanks Simon, and thanks thanks for the link there, Jim. Just wanting to make sure that we close on time. So just for that particular question there, Glenn. So given that you already have connections with Simon, and also for anyone as well, if anyone wants to discuss their specific questions and need further discussions, please let us know, and then we can see what we can do around kind of reaching out to the project team and see what what sort of support that we can provide on that, and giving you a bit of an in-depth sort of discussion those in that way. I think would be great. And I just want to announce a quick teaser for the next public office hours in 2 weeks' time. So SSW has basically kindly told me that they will demo their project that they are working on using Semantic Kernel. It's about timesheets. So I'll let Brady or Will want to talk about that quickly. If you can, just keep it within 1 minute. It'd be great.
Sure, yeah. I won't reveal too much. We'll save it for next session. But yeah, this is something that we've been working on, and the goal is to pretty much make timesheets easy. And right now what I do is I look through all my emails that I sent on that day and what meetings I had and what calls I took, and then sort of write about that.
Familiar.
But yeah. So this pretty much does all the same thing, but it's automated. So
That's brilliant. Thank you, Brady.
Cool.
Yeah, looking forward to that demo. As well as Jim, you want to thinking about doing a demo as well in the upcoming session? If you want to drop a little bit, and then we can.
Yes, I can do a demo. We've got a proof of concept that we're calling Quick Kiwi. We, like any sort of large organization, we've got lots of information in different sources. So we've got information in emails. I might have a document on my hard drive. We have handover videos in Teams. We have our own 3 different internal knowledge management systems, depending on which team you're in. So we wanted to come up with a solution that could unify and tap into all of those. So we're using Semantic Kernel and a vector database, and basically using the RAG pattern to basically, we have an ingestion service where we can ingest videos, and we use Whisper to transcribe those into the transcript. We can tap into our Outlook, we can tap into SQL, and then we maintain a reference to the source of that information. And then we just use Semantic Kernel to then pull from the vector database based on confidence of how that is, and then surface that in the app. So
brilliant.
Yeah, I could do a little demo of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that's of interest.
Yeah, perhaps in the upcoming office hours, given that we sort of already ran out of time. But yeah, fantastic. We looking for these demos, and the more people doing demos, the easier for us to relate and start collaborating and sharing stuff. So this is kind of the full purpose
let me
of
know
office hours.
which session has got room for 20 minutes, half an hour to go through that.
Yeah. So we'll let you know, because we've got a couple of demos potentially next in the upcoming one.
Yeah, sounds like that
I'll
might be
contact
full.
you
So
separately. Yeah.
Cool.
Fantastic. Thank you
I'm
all. Really,
glad we ran
really
out of
appreciate
time,
it.
Vic.
Yeah, we're out of time. And sorry, Simon.
I was saying we're glad we ran out of time, because I was madly trying to get this thing working again, and I wasn't able to. So I'll have to do it next week if we've got time, or next session. Yep.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so we'll schedule that. Make sure that we have enough time for everyone to do the demo. Yeah, cool stuff. Thank you very much, everyone, and look forward to the next one.
Cool. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. It was great.